Who is the greatest footballer of all time? This is a question every fan has debated frequently and fervently. In recent times, the contest has been a neck-and-neck battle between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Older fans might clamor for the genius of one Diego Maradona or even Johan Cruyff. The field, however, clears quickly and decisively in favor of Edson Arantes do Nascimento, better known as Pele. There are a number of stories that explain where the moniker came from, but none can whatsoever explain the phenomenon. The Brazilian has been a walking, talking showreel for the better half of a century, and his name will forever be immortalized. He is the greatest. Many talk of Messi's magic, or Ronaldo's athleticism and achievements, or better still, Maradona's charm on the pitch. Pele had it all. He was clinical, a prolific goal scorer, and a deft dribbler with great vision and skills, which meant he could easily transition from a striker into a playmaker. He was comfortable with both feet, and seemed to always know where the goal and the defenders would be. This ability to easily read the game meant he was an unstoppable force in the penalty area, and often came to his team's rescue time and again. In the end, the legend finished with 3 World Cups and 1,283 goals to his name, the highest ever recorded number of goals. But despite these achievements, the King, as he is commonly referred to, can count on the fingers of one hand the number of clubs he played for during his 22-year career. Santos FC for 22 years, between 1956 to 1974, and New York Cosmos from 1974 to 77. So why did Pele only play for 2 clubs throughout his career and never ever in Europe? Born in 1940, Pele started playing professionally aged 15 years. The youngster came out of nowhere. In 1958, people turned on the television to watch the first international broadcast ever of the World Cup. Black and white screens flickered as a little-known, skinny 17-year-old, playing with imagination and verve never seen before, ran circles around seasoned veterans. And by the end of that World Cup, the name Pele had shot across the globe. Notably, the teenager scored a hat-trick in the semi-final and 2 more in the final as Brazil won the World Cup. He had arrived. After the World Cup, Pele continued his progress at Santos, and the club sought to reap big from his stardom, setting up numerous tours across the continent and Europe in exhibition matches. Pele received a hefty share of the club's exhibition fee and became the world's highest-paid team sport athlete, taking home an estimated annual fee of $150,000. Soon, proposals started streaming in, prompting Brazilian President Jânio Quadros to decree Pele as a national treasure that cannot be exported, and as a result, the attacker could not leave Brazil. But that was not a problem. Pele loved Brazil. He kept winning trophies year after year. Championships, Copa Libertadores, International Cups, World Cups, he collected them. But he did all this while in his native Brazil. However, based on the number of top players who were playing in the Brazilian League and South America at large in the 1960s, it's safe to say football on the continent was arguably equally good, if not better than what the European leagues offered. This is also proven by the Intercontinental Cup, an equivalent of the Club World Cup, where, during the 15 editions Pele played in, South American clubs won it against 7 by the European clubs. Unfortunately, Pele not playing in Europe has been one of the few criticisms leveled at the legend, but he says that was a purely personal decision. I've been invited all my life to play in Italy, England, Spain, and Germany. I had many offers to sign for Madrid, Barca, Milan, and Bayern, but I was happy at Santos, and that's why I stayed for 18 years, revealed Pele. When I left, it was an experience to go to the Cosmos and promote football, do soccer clinics, and learn English. If not, I would never have left Brazil. Some argue that had he been playing now, Pele would surely have made the move to Europe, but could that be the case? Maybe, maybe not. But at the time, Pele had everything he would have dreamed of. Believe it or not, a survey in the early 1970s showed that the name Pele ranked behind only Coca-Cola as the most popular brand in Europe, and only Muhammad Ali came close to rivaling the magnitude of the Brazilian's popularity. In 1966, though, Pele found himself ruined following a disastrous management of his income by his friend and financial advisor, forcing the star to take a loan from his club, meaning he would continue pursuing his career in his native land as part of the agreement. In 1974, less influential on the pitch, Pele decided to retire at the age of 34. Unfortunately, a company he invested in found itself in debts, leaving the player bankrupt. He entertained the idea of going back to play to pay his debt, and once again, European clubs came knocking for the King's signature. But Pele chose to head to North America with the New York Cosmos, who had tried to sign him years earlier. There was one problem though. Pele had to convince the Brazilian government to allow him to leave the country to play abroad. It took the intervention of Henry Kissinger, the then U.S. Secretary of State, who sent a letter to the Brazilian president before he traveled to meet him and Pele's team. It is believed the offer was in the region of $2.5 million to $7 million, and that confirmed it. Pele would never play for a European team. It really was ludicrous to think that Pele, the greatest player of all, was going to end up playing for this ridiculous little team in New York, drawing 1,500 people, said Clive Toye, the Cosmos general manager. But I told him, don't go to Italy, don't go to Spain, all you can do is win a championship. Come to the US and you can win a country. In 1977, Pele led the Cosmos to the league championship, and it was the year the King played his final game. I lost part of my body because I always involved in soccer, 22 years in soccer, and when it's time to retire, to stop it, that's not good. But fortunately, I can stop in good shape, he said ahead of the last match. On a somber afternoon at Giant Stadium, the Brazilian played his last match and also scored his last goal. It was a befitting end to his career, as he was allowed to feature one half for the Cosmos and the other half for Santos. A Brazilian newspaper noted about the atmosphere of the rainy day, "Even the sky was crying. Legend."